What's going on, guys? This is my first take at making a video on how to teach the split jerk. So with anything regarding the Olympic lifts, jerk, snatch, clean, anything, squatting, even pulling, you want to make it as close to competition lift as possible. So what you're going to want to do is wear some weightlifting shoes. They're not just, for a fashion statement or whatever. The raised heel helps in many different ways. I'm not going to go too deep into it here, but it allows you to keep a more upright torso, and so if they're available to you, use them. If not, they're not an absolute necessity if you're just trying to learn the jerk in general. So the first thing you're going to want to do with yourself or your beginning athlete is just make sure that they can go overhead properly. So what you want to do before you introduce the rack position to them is just take the bar, put it on their back above the trap muscle, and just see if they can lock out overhead like this. Make sure they're pushing up with their upper back and locked out with their arms fully. Then the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to introduce the front rack position. So your elbows are going to be up, the bar is going to be resting on your deltoid. See, I just flossed my arms here to make sure I had good mobility there. And then I'm just going to do the same exact thing as last time. I'm going to just press the bar overhead. I'm going to keep it close to my body as it passes my face. I'm going to push my head through. I'm going to make sure I have that same good overhead position. So that's the thing you want to do with any good lift, is teach the end position and start position. So the end position for a jerk is overhead. The beginning is the front rack. And the best way to teach that is with a strict press, which is what you see here. So this would be the first formal progression you would use. Another small thing to be aware of, you just keep your feet angled out so that when we dip, we're allowed to stay on our heels, as opposed to if we were our toes pointed straight out. If we bend our knees, we would come onto our toes, so small thing to be aware of. Next thing is just a note about the rack position. You don't want your elbows too high, because with this position, if you were going to go overhead, you would have to do a reaching motion, as opposed to if it were elbows straight down and out. It's just a pressing motion like that. So with the jerk, that's the position you want to be in, not the elbows too far up. Just a note about the rack position there. Okay, so like any other new movement, first we're going to address the previous progressions before we move on. So it goes strict press, then it goes push press, making sure we have good leg drive, because now leg drive is an important feature for the next movement. So a couple notes about the push press. You want to stay on your heels through the dip portion of the lift, so you're going to dip straight down, drive straight up. This is going to be the same throughout all variations of the split jerk. So real quick, just going to go over the footwork for the power jerk. So what a drill I like to do here is I go on the balls of my feet, stay balanced, make sure I can hold this finish position, and then I just land. So up and then down. And the push jerk is simple, power jerk is simple. It's just a movement of the feet outwards. That violent slapping sound you hear is just a product of the motion of landing, not like slamming your feet on the ground. So again, going through the progressions. So we got the push press, or the strict press, then the push press, and now we're going to introduce the power jerk. So it's the same leg drive, except as soon as the bar passes up my head, I'm going to land in that same power jerk position I just practiced. So you want to make sure your footwork is on point before you move on, which is why we're now introducing the split jerk in the footwork. So you don't want to just like throw the split jerk as a movement. First, you got to know the footwork for it. So what you're going to do is you're going to step your dominant foot out, back foot back, point your toes slightly inward, bend both knees, and you're always going to bring your front foot back and your back foot front. So I'm going to recover with my front foot back foot front, and do that same drill where I'm in the finish position, and then just land straight down, bent both knees, heel on my front foot, toe on my back foot. So here's just another drill I like to do before going on to the split jerk or teaching the split jerk, is I go in that position, and then I add in the strict press just to, again, feel that end position we're going to feel with the split jerk. So getting the split, knees bent, heel on my front foot, toe on my back foot, toes pointed slightly in. Overhead position is nice and strong, activating my upper back and fully locked out. So now I'm going to add in the full motion of the split jerk. Too easy. Finishing with my head through, straight dip, straight drive, front foot out, back foot back, and my body stays neutral. And that's the split jerk.